Hey everybody, this is Ethan Jarrell. I'm here with Corey Barnett from Raleigh Real Estate Group, and we're going to talk about the fastest ways to stop foreclosures within 48 hours.
That's right, Ethan. Over the years, we've been doing short sales for almost 9 years now, coming up on 10, and we have developed several different ways and have found different ways to quickly stop the foreclosure process. One of the most effective ways and the most simplest is to bring your payments current, which is pretty obvious. Everybody knows if you're behind on payment, one of the fastest things to do is to figure out what you're behind and bring them current. It's not always the best way, and it's not always the most even a feasible way for most homeowners, because if they're behind on payments, they can't bring them current. So some of the other things that we're going to talk about are forbearance plans, loan modifications, deed in lieu of foreclosures, short sales, bankruptcies, and other things like that.
Okay, great. Now I know one of the things you talked about was bringing the loan current. What exactly does that mean?
Well, bringing the loan current would mean, if you're behind 2 months, you call the bank and you say, hey, what am I behind? Because there's not only going to be those 2 months that you're behind, but there's going to be late fees and other charges assessed to that to bring it current.
Okay, perfect. Now, and one of the things that you mentioned was a forbearance plan. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, forbearance plan is something that the bank has had as an option for as pretty much as long as the banks have been around. And forbearing meaning they will forbear the payments that are currently due, that you're behind 2 or 3 months, meaning you will not have to pay them now. They'll forbear those payments, so they'll wrap them into the current loan or either add them to the end of the loan. So you'll eventually have to pay them, you just won't have to pay them right now. They'll bring you current, and they'll forbear that from having to pay it now, and you'll have to pay it later on down the road.
That'll really help out a lot of your clients.
Yeah, tons, because a lot of people have gotten to a situation where they can't bring the upfront money, but they can start making their regular payments on time again.
Well, that leads us to the next point that we're going to talk about. What is a short sale? I know that's one of the main things you guys do.
Yeah, it is. Short sale is where the bank is willing to take less than what is owed on the loan for a settlement on their account. So it serves a few different purposes. It allows the bank to get settlement and money and closure on that account. It also allows the debtor to settle it with the bank so they don't have any debt looming over their head. And it also allows us as an investment company to buy a property for below market value.
So really it works out good for everybody.
Exactly. It's a win-win-win for everyone that's involved.
Well, it's been a hot topic for us for the last few months for sure. Now, one of the last things we're going to talk about is bankruptcy, which is a term that everybody is familiar with. Could you kind of explain that to us a little more in depth?
Well, a lot of times people are confused about bankruptcy, and they don't realize there's a few different ways you can file bankruptcy. Chapter 7, Chapter 13. Some attorneys even joke around saying that my client filed Chapter 20, meaning they filed a 7, then a 13, or a 13, then a 7. So there's a few different ways you can do that, and you really need to seek competent legal counsel to be able to figure out what your personal situation is, and is it better to do a reorganization of debt through the Chapter 13 or do a complete Chapter 7. It's really different for everyone, so you really need to make sure you talk with an attorney to make sure that you're doing the right thing in your situation, because everybody's situation is going to be different.
So it's something that everybody knows about, but it's best to talk with somebody just to make sure that you understand exactly what's going to work out best for you.
Exactly, because a lot of times you'll get advice from friends or family, but that they really don't know. They've heard bits and pieces of what they think is good, so they have an opinion about it. But it's really best to seek a good bankruptcy attorney that can give you some good counsel on your personal situation.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your time today. Again, this is Corey Barnett with Raleigh Real Estate Group, and I hope that this information has been helpful to everybody who's watching this.